All right, time now for Stories to Start your morning, sponsored by Ram Trucks Built to Serve. We got to start with the 5-1 Ravens hosting the 6-0 Steelers to get this segment going. Surprisingly, the first head-to-head matchup between Big Ben and Lamar Jackson. What's on the line? Oh, how about first place in the crowded AFC North? Brandon Marshall, we hand the reins over to you. Take us through the keys to the game. How do the Ravens take down the league's last undefeated team?
All right, let's jump right in. We got 3 keys to victory for the Ravens. Number 1, Lamar Jackson must complete 75% of his passes. Why? Because we know the Pittsburgh Steelers front 7 is going to eliminate the run game. That's what the Ravens do best, but they're not going to be able to do it. Look what they did against the Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry. They took him out of the game. All right, so Lamar Jackson, you got to get it done. Last year, you threw 3 interceptions and you struggled. So this year, we need you to really get it going. This is the game to do it if you want the win. Key to victory number 2. All right. So this is the wide receivers. I'm putting it on you guys. We need you guys to have 100 yards in yak, 100 yards after the catch, because you're not going to be able to go down the field. The Pittsburgh Steelers secondary do a great job of eliminating the big play. So the screens, the quick game, getting the ball out fast, you guys got to be able to break that tackle and run for 15, run for 20. You guys got to get it done. Hollywood, let's go. And the third key, defense. Confuse Big Ben. Don't confuse yourself. Like, this defense thrives in chaos. This defense is really good at creating just awesome matchups in the secondary, but they confuse themselves at times, and it comes back to bite them in the butt. So confuse Big Ben and not yourself so you can have a chance to win this game. That's the keys right there,
Brandon,
Nick.
I think those are all great keys. I think you didn't leave one out because this isn't something someone can do. But I think the biggest factor, rather than key, is how rested these two teams are coming into this matchup. You have Pittsburgh that just played a brutal game against Tennessee. Tennessee making a furious comeback late. And even though they did hold Derrick Henry in check, that's not pleasant. It's like, you know, winning a 12-round decision boxing match. You won, but you're feeling that for quite some time. Baltimore, on the other hand, just had a week off. And by the way, if I'm Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin, I'm a little irritated. I'm like, you guys know this is an old-school divisional rivalry. We didn't get to do it last year because Big Ben's hurt, and they get a bye week before our first matchup, and our next matchup's on a Thursday night, so neither of us are going to be rested. But that's neither here nor there. The other part of this game that I find so interesting is I'm going to describe one of these teams. Tell me who I'm describing. Top 3 defense, top 3 special teams, above average but not great offense, top 5 head coach. The answer is both. These teams are oddly very similar to each other. So because the Ravens are more rested and because, Wilds, I think the Ravens have flown under the radar a bit. I think the Ravens, they got beat by the Chiefs on national television and people tuned them out. The problem is every other game they've played except that game, not only have they won, they have held 3-score fourth-quarter leads in every game of the season, aside from the Chiefs game. The Eagles came back to make it close. Everyone else got beat by double digits. So I think the Ravens are slightly undervalued. I think the Steelers showed a little shakiness in the second half against Tennessee last week. I think it's going to take them time to figure out replacing Devin Bush, and I think they're a little beat up. For all those reasons, I think the Ravens tie up the AFC North this weekend, and they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay. I'm going to go the other way. I think it's going to be an emotionally devastating loss for the Ravens. Here's why. We know outside of the Browns game, Lamar hasn't been able to move the ball through the air. 204, 97, 193, 180, 186. We're in Sam Darnold territory. And I think you can be like, well, they run the ball. Not against the Steelers, you're not going to run the ball. And the Steelers are going to blitz the heck out of you and probably get a few sacks, too. So I think they come out on the other side of this like a rich family. on vacation, and they're like, oh, and they're talking to the other rich families, like, oh, how'd you get here? And they're like, you know what? We flew first class. How did you get here? Like, well, we flew on a private jet. And there's a few private jet teams. The Chiefs are going to be a private jet team, and the Steelers are going to be a private jet team. And the Ravens are going to be like, oh, we're really good. Like, yeah, you know what? You are, but you're not flying a private jet. You're just a first class team. It's very good, don't get me wrong, but we're on a private jet, and that's the Steelers and the Chiefs are going to take 2 L's.
Ironically enough, the actual team with jet in the name, the Jets, are a hitchhiking team. How'd you get here? We hitchhiked and we rode a boat. Sorry, Jen, if I stole your joke. Sorry,
the only thing I said the whole segment.
Nobody stole your joke. Leave the Jets alone.
I've got a question.
Stop it.
Brandon, I got a question for you. I think one of the reasons people aren't as high on the Ravens right now is Lamar. The defending league MVP is worse in every major passing category than he was last year.
Yeah.
Wiles just alluded to it. He's barely cracked 200 yards even one time post week 1. And if you dive into the numbers further, what you see is in between the hashes, in between the numbers, he's throwing the ball really well. But to the sidelines, it's been a disaster. What do you make of how Lamar's played and that discrepancy between his success throwing between the numbers and his success throwing to the outside?
It's hard to do this because I've been in these locker rooms for a very long time, and I know that it takes everyone. But I'm going to tell you the issue. And it's hard to do this because it's not just one person. It's never that person. But I truly believe this in this situation. It's Greg Roman's fault. Absolutely Greg Roman's fault. When you break down this offense, there's no identity. What you see in the running game, you have pistol, you have misdirection, you have power O run game. And then when you go to the passing game, it's like they have 2 different identities. Their spread, their quick game, their play action. Who are you? So if I'm a quarterback in this situation, yes, it's great when we're running the ball well and we have play action set up and guys are wide open down the field. That's easy. But when you're trailing against the Kansas City Chiefs and you need to come back and win a game and you got to spread and you got to throw the ball around, you have no identity there. Right. That's not what you do best. You haven't really put your stake in the ground. So for me, this falls 100% on Greg Roman. Now, they've done a great job at this point, and I'm not saying that he's a terrible coach for it because he's actually an excellent coach. But if you want this team to go to the next level and make that run year after year, you have to develop this quarterback, but it starts with the identity.
Good. All right, well, the other game we're anxious to watch this weekend, Patriots and Bills. New England heading up to Buffalo for a divisional battle. I can't believe I'm saying this, but a loss on Sunday, and the Patriots, who've done just about everything right over the last 20 years, would fall to 2-5. They need a big game out of Cam Newton. He's got 0 touchdowns and 5 picks in his last 2 starts, and now he's going to be without his top receiver, Julian Edelman, sidelined after a precautionary knee procedure. Here's Cam Newton, Hall of Famer. Here's Cam Newton on what's on the line on Sunday.
Losing is not acceptable in this locker room, in this county, in this state, in this area, in this region. So, Cameron Newton, you need to pick your expletive up. That's what I've learned.
In the country, also on the continent, in the galaxy, far, far away. That is the New England Patriot way. We have talked about it since we started this show. So, Brandon, is Cam playing for his job on Sunday?
No, don't start with me. I'm not going to give this guy, hold on, let me see. This guy right here, I'm not going to give this guy a break. Wow, this is your team. You tell us. You tell us.
Sure. Look, Cam is not playing for his job because we're going to win. And the reason we're going to win is because it's going to be a brutally rainy and windy day. so we can get back to basics and run the ball. Hate to break it to everybody, just because we didn't run the ball well against the 49ers, we are the 4th best running team in the league. We run better than the Titans, but you won't show those videos. All you'll want to show is Derrick Henry, stiff arm, and Josh Norman. We run better than the Titans. Titans are averaging 142. The Patriots average 155. So because it's going to be so rainy, we're not going to have to air the ball out. Cam can get a bounce-back game. And also, Nick, it's going to be a very wet game. Once we win this game, it will also be wet of all the tears rolling down the faces of the rest of the NFL when they realize the Patriots are far from dead and we're going to end up hosting a home playoff game.
I think the Patriots are going to win. I think the Patriots are going to win, and I still do believe with you they're going to win the division. But, Brandon, the question is Cam playing for his job? And I know we don't have much time left here, but Wild said something very interesting. If you believe he's playing for his job, I don't. But does that also mean he's playing for his career? If he gets benched this year by the Patriots, then is that just a wrap for Cam?
I wish we had more time. When you go into a new situation, Jenna, and you're in a new environment, and you're coming off of being injured, and you didn't play well, and you don't play well, you could potentially be cut, or you could potentially not have another year. So, yes.
On the way out.
That's a great point.
A lot on
Which
the
is
line
why they're going to win.
All right,
Cam
that's
will
it
play
for
well,
us.
they're going to win.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Back here Monday morning on Undisputed starts right now.